Well, folks, Fat Donnie has committed what I now believe is to be his worst crime ever. Now, he's committed a lot of crimes, both before and after he somehow weaseled his way into the White House, but this has to be bordering on a war crime. He has had police officials firing tear gas on foreigners trying to cross the border. Let me be clear. Let me reiterate. People are firing tear gas on civilians, not rioters, not drunk people flipping over cars because their team won or lost. Why do people riot when they win? It's like, do they get so drunk they gotta riot? I thought riots were for piss. Anyway, ADD. Firing tear gas on men, women, and children trying to seek asylum. Now, there were some people who crossed the border and were arrested. The way it should be done, it's not, they shouldn't be arrested after, choking on tear gas. Some Trump consigliere basically said it's made of peppers and water. You can basically put it on your nachos and eat it. And I'm like, you do know even in tortilla sauce or whatever, I don't know, tapatio sauce, it still burns. It burns the tongue and it burns the eyes and it chokes the lungs. People are choking on this stuff. And they're civilians. They're simply trying to live. Now, I understand that they should come here legally and not come here illegally, but still, tear gas is not the way to go. You set up an ambush, you get the jump on them and say, hey, put your hands up, you're under arrest. It's like, mierda, vato de cara, sí. This is bordering war crime, and this isn't, firing on Mexican citizens on our borders. This is firing on Mexicans on Mexican soil, simply shooting from, American soil. Mexico could get their shit get together from dealing with their shit with the drug cartels, say, hey, Fato, I don't like you firing on my own people on my own soil. Fuck you, it's war. Now, of course, because, it's America, we'd deal with them in about 30 minutes. I mean, because Mexico doesn't have nukes. Just saying, but I don't want another war. We already went to one war, and I'm not ashamed about that first war. It's war. But I don't want another war. We've already got 2 wars over there in the Middle East. We don't want one right here. And this is... Tear gas is what you use against rioters and violent criminals. These people, while yes, criminals by immigrating here illegally, or it's not illegal to seek asylum. It is not illegal to seek asylum. Now we should force these people to get the proper documents and shit after they come over here, but they're not violent criminals. Despite what they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some I assume to be good people. Mexicans, all peoples, are generally good. Except for Bronx people. Those people are fucked up. I'm kidding. But the point is, this is not something you use against civilians that are not rioting or committing violent crimes. And now this was brought to my attention by Ring of Fire host Farron Cousins, the bald guy that you usually see on them. In the videos. Now, he incorrectly said that this is the worst atrocity against civilians that's been done on the North American continent in his lifetime. Now, that would have been truthful for me, as someone who was born in July of 1993. But this guy was old enough not only to have kids now, at a time where he should have, but also to vote for Obama in 2008. So I'm pretty sure there was something he that was not to belittle what's happening in Mexico, but there was something that happened in America that was worse, that was similar and worse. April 19th, 1993, about 3 months before 2.5 months before I was born, the U.S. government used tanks and tear gas against American civilians, but in Waco, Texas, the Waco massacre, Waco siege, whatever. But this time, in that incident, 76 innocent Americans died. Now, some from self-inflicted gunshot, including David Koresh, because, it was ending, so he's like, bam. But the point is, the American government should not be using tanks against civilians. And the reason the fire started was because after the government had cut the electricity to the Branch Davidian complex, they had to use candles for light, which were flammable. And when they shot tear gas into the complex, the candles went up like Roman candles. And it set the whole place on fire. And then they started using tanks to destroy the place, which spread the fire, which made it worse and killed 76 innocent Americans. If the U.S. government, under a Democratic administration, sorry, Bill Clinton, but that's on you, is willing to use tanks on civilians and actually kill Americans, their own people, can you imagine what they're willing to do to citizens that aren't of their country on foreign soil? I mean, for God's sake, we started a war that was totally unjustified. We attacked a country that didn't attack us. And you know what's worse? Not just the fact that that our soldiers or police or whatever use tear gas on civilians, when men, women, and children, they tried to paint it as if it was just guys. But it was men, women, and children. There's a picture of a girl who's crying. She's barely wearing any clothes, and her mother, I assume, is wearing a Frozen shirt, which is probably hers because they can barely afford any clothes. You know what's worse is the Republicans are just eating it up and just going, glory to Trump! Trump Akbar! Tommy Lauren, the biggest, one of the Princess Snowflake is saying it was the highlight of Thanksgiving. Are you fucking kidding me? We're firing tear gas on innocent foreign civilians on their own soil. Is there nothing Trump can do that would make them go, okay, that was messed up? At least my mother just at least has the decency to say, okay, I disagree with the separation of children from their parents, and that's it. But it's like there's nothing Trump can do that could make them turn against him besides the whole Acosta thing. That's the only thing Fox News sided with against Trump. There's nothing that Trump could do that could make them go, okay, that's fucked up. It's like Trump could literally drive or advocate driving an 18-wheeler through a daycare center, running over and killing many children and kids. And you know what Fox News and Tommy Lauren would say? God wills it! And I just figured that, and I literally seconds ago just learned this. Transgender Honduran immigrant Roxana Hernandez Rodriguez died while in ICE custody, and an autopsy reveals that she was beaten while in custody before her death. Do I need to explain further why one, ICE is fucked up, and two, we are in a crisis? The respect for human rights is basically gone out the window. God, God, please have mercy on us. Jeez. Is it still too late to use the 25th Amendment to remove this man from office? I don't hate America, but I feel ashamed to be an American for once in my life. This is one of those moments where I'm just like, what the fuck has my country gone to? JFK is rolling in his grave. These people, they claim to be Christians, but they are being the most unchristian ever. In fact, the Bible is pretty much pro-immigrant. In fact, there's even in the Old Testament, these Republican Christians, they tend to be, the old, judgmental, wrathful kind of Christians. Well, in the Old Testament, Moses said, "Be kind to immigrants, for you were once immigrants in Egypt." But they use the Bible when it suits them. But when it comes to treating others with respect, or others that are different with respect, out the window. They don't care. They use the Bible for their bigotry, and they use it when it's convenient. God, I mean, I love America, but I'm worried about what, you know, like, as I said, if the U.S. government is willing to use tanks on American citizens in '93 under Democrat administration, and then use tear gas on Mexican foreigners, Mexican people on their own soil under Republican administration, am I next? Or are people protesting next? What can we expect in 2019 and 2020? I am worried for my country. Not just, our rights, but our soul. Has partisanship been so ingrained to us that we are willing to sell our souls just so that that this party can stay in power? That we are willing to ignore clear violations of human liberties and even bordering on war crimes just because our beloved Fat Donnie is a Republican? Now I'm asking anyone who's a Republican, are you really willing to let this slide simply because it's done under a Republican administration? Has partisanship got that much in your soul? I hope we don't have to have a revolution to fix the system. But it may come to that. We've already had 2 revolutions. I don't want to have to see a third. I'm going to try to calm down, and I'm going to play some more Red Dead Redemption 2. God help us all. Anyway, I want everyone to stay positive, stay American, stay progressive, and as always, may the force be with you.